This video is going to discuss endgame armor preparations for Hunter Mains, Solo Hunter Mains PvE before Renegades. We're going to discuss armor archetypes, stat distributions, and armor sets to chase for. This video is going to be very detailed. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I foresee it to be longer than the Titan and Warlock armor prep video because there's more at stake for the Hunter. There's many different ways to build the Hunter, and it's much more complicated to build Hunter builds than it is Warlock and Titan. If you're a Warlock and Titan, then you want those videos, they'll be linked down below for those. If we really look at this from a distance, Titans, two ways of building them. Bolt charge Titan or melee build. Boom, done, finished. What else is on for tea? Warlocks, grenade builds because they're powerful, or a melee build with some gunner pieces, weapon pieces, and so on and so forth. Very simple. Electric slide, grenade. Electric slide, grenade. Either one. There you go. That's your routes. 20 seconds. We've explained those two classes. Hunters, no way. There's many different ways to build a hunter out for endgame PvE. So much so, it's even overwhelming for me to cover it all in a video. I'm going to be actually missing out some elements in this video because I've actually ran out of endgame mats almost. You Hunter Mains, you owe me big time, Hunter Mains. You owe me massive times. I have spent 60 Ascendant Shards on the Hunter today, over 100 Enhancement Prisms. I've spent 1 million Glimmer. I've spent everything. You Hunter Mains, you have handicapped me for Renegades. Now I'm going into Renegades with no mats. You have done a big one on me, man. You're trying to get one over me. I know what you're doing, Hunters. Yeah, let him build craft on the Hunter so that he's handicapped for mats at launch. Now I'm gonna have to go like fuck tomorrow to get all these mats back. Because my God, farming masterwork and tier 5 armor, rolling the dice with the Cryptarch is very costly. When you are looking for 10-20 builds, if you want to make 20 builds in one day, it's not possible to actually do it. It's not even possible to make 20 builds in one day. It's barely possible to make 10 builds in one day. So hard, it's too costly. Bungie needs to address endgame mats, but they're not going to, am I? I am literally talking into a wishing well. Is anybody there? The endgame mat situation's too difficult. I can't foresee this going well in January and February and March 2026. Can we get a change for this, lads? My God, it's difficult. Look at my Glimmer, 7-4. My gosh. Right. Let's talk Hunter now, right? So the 3 main armor stats that you want to get, let's take it from the top. The 3 main archetypes or sets that you want are Texec, because it's going to work with the lightsaber. Texec is not the best set in the game, but the 2-piece is nice to have around when you're up against a lot of shields, which we may well be in Renegades, especially in the campaign with the new elemental shields. Bungie has confirmed Texec does work with the new shields that they've developed. So that's set bonus 1. Set 2 is Smoke Jumper. It's the best set in the game, 2-piece. So you want to get that. It gives 45% DR on orb power pickup. The Hunter needs as much damage resist as he can get. So getting Smoke Jumper 2-piece with many different stat configurations is very important to the Hunter. Next set that you want to chase is the Ion Adapter. So Ion Adapter from Kepler, we're going to show you how to get all this. The reason being is because it says Grenade Launcher. Now on a Hunter, you often use Grenade Launchers more than the other classes. And I'll talk about why that is a little bit. And that's important because you're going to get extra resistance. You can stack that with Woven Mail, Smoke Jumper resistances, and so on and so forth. It works with Mint Replicate as well. The Ion Adapter is a meta set. You need the 2-piece. You need to unlock it. I'm going to show you. That's via the Mythic Quest. I'm going to show you again where the cave is and a build for that as well. So there, are we understanding? You only just need 3 sets. People have mentioned to me, I use the trial set. No, I haven't got space for it. I haven't got space for no trial set. I delete all my trials armor. I haven't got space. I have not got space for it. I'm sorry. Trials 2-piece is okay, but it's not meta, lads. It's not meta. The sets I'm mentioning are better than the trials 2-piece. Anyways, coming away from that, let's talk now archetypes. Let's rate it out of 10 like we did with the other builds, because the other classes, because it's a little bit different. There's nuances between class to class. It's not just one says all. Before I go through this, I will tell you, to get every stat configuration in the game, you can do that with Gunner and Paragon alone. However, you are at the mercy of RNG of getting them stat configurations. So I don't believe you just do that either and just focus Paragon and Gunner. That's not just as simple as that. People have said that the stats overlap between archetypes, and they do. They really do. At the end of the day, for the casual player, has he got the stats, yes or no? And that's really the answer we can come to say, have you got the stats? Is it yes? No, it's not. I haven't got it. Well, no good. You have to go back caving. You have to go farming for the cave. Yeah? Right. Gunner is a very versatile archetype. Primary weapons, secondary grenade. Gunner's probably a 10 out of 10 on Hunters because the grenade stat is very powerful on Hunter. It's actually more powerful on Hunter than it is Titan. So Gunner's very powerful, and weapon stats are always powerful. Bulwark is a PvP. It's a PvP armor set. Specialist, in my opinion, is a 10 out of 10, but only for particular builds. If it's not on a particular build, then it's probably a 7 out of 10. So in the context of how I'm doing it in the video, it is 10 out of 10. And a lot of you won't say that or think that, but I do think that. But if you're not running that build, then it's not a 10 out of 10. It's probably less. Grenadier is 10 out of 10 because the Grenadier stat works, I guess, interesting with the Hunter. And its secondary trait is super, being one of the most important stats in the game. We are in a super meta. It's 10 out of 10. Paragon is freaking 20 out of 10, man. It's amazing, right? Man, the Hunter's looking good for archetypes. And Brawler is... You don't need Brawler at all, as we've explained. And the reason for that, now we come to stat configurations, or explanations of stats. Health is a PvP trait, lads. I've said this... How many times have I said that over the last 2 days? It's a PvP trait. I have went very in-depth on why it is. It's for shield recharge. It's not for tank. This is not where you're making a tanky warrior. It's not like in an online MMO where you make a warrior. It's nothing like that. This is PvP, lads. It's for the PvP players. Okay? Hope you understand that. Boom. Alright. So, melee stats obviously very important on some builds. Grenade stat is extremely important on some builds, being very, very important. Super's always important. Class stats important only on certain builds as it is, and we'll come back to that. And the weapon stat, depending on the build, is also important, always a factor. So there's a lot of stats to configure. Now, I've made a lot of builds. I've made 10 build configurations today just for this video, just to get my points across. Here's some of the things I haven't covered on these dim links. So I'm running out. I'm running out of space, lads. I have not covered Fortracer and Spirit of Fortracer. Graviton Forfeit, because I've run out of materials, but Graviton Forfeit is due to get a buff. Shatterdive Revenant is getting a buff with Frost Armor. I have not made a build for that yet. We have to see what that's like next week. Shards of Galanar, Blade Barrage is getting a buff, but that is... We need to see how that is in game before we say yes or no to the build. I would say no. I would probably still say it's not meta, but we will see. Mothkeeper's Wraps, that's something to discuss at a later time in a few weeks, and I haven't made a build about it. But Mothkeeper Wraps is a secret speciality build, which I haven't got the time to make a build for that. And Solo Hunter, I'm not offering any Solo Hunter builds for today because Solo Hunter needs to prove to us all that it's meta. And I don't know if it is until we play with it next week. It is off meta. I'm talking pure Solo Hunter here. It's still off meta right now, lads. It's not meta. All of the builds that I'm going to mention to you are meta. And pure Solo is not meta right now. However, on Tuesday it might be. We shall see after the changes. I need to digest it. And I'm not going to give you any information until I have. Because I'm very strict that way. The Buff and Lucky Raspberry... Which that's another build that needs to prove to us that it's good. Omnioculus is a support style build for Fireteam gameplay, and there is the Ophidius Spaith build with solar knives. Ophidius Spaith gives you double knife trick, but that is also something that's off meta, and we don't know how good that's going to be next week. So those are the things I haven't covered. Fortresser is meta, by the way. The spirit of Fortresser, exactly. But anyways, now we get to what we're discussing. So, talking about this build, obviously we ran these builds in solo gameplay. This is the Monkey King Strand tank build. Now, I want to recorrect something I mentioned about this build a week ago or so. I said that class stat gives damage resist, and it doesn't. Only Overshield class stat gives 70% damage resist. The class stat base is just health Overshield. However, that is still enough to stay alive in endgame content. This is one of the best builds in the game for face tanking bosses. I have proved that to you over and over and over. This build can do everything in the game right now. Everything. You want to Soul Force a dungeon, sure, go and do it. You want to go and do Grandmasters, go and do it. You want to do Ultimate Content, go and do it. It can do everything. The reason why it's so good is it's very simplified. Super class weapons. That's all it's needed. And it's that good that I will be considering playing this class during the Legendary campaign. That's how highly I think about it. Because it's all about woven mail. Right, now this version is the Well and Maelstrom version. We'll just come to this version here. The clone and slam is incredibly potent, right, for endgame stuff because of the tech with clone to divert the ads away from you, and you can keep DPS in a boss up front. It needs DOT in its kit. Now, I use Festival Flight a lot with it. You can use Lost Signal with it. You can use Witherhard with it. You can use Ahab Char. Have I got it on me? No, I have not. Ahab Char has a perk called Braytech Legacy, which works to keep giving you your class stat back, right? So there's many reasons, as I say, why this build. It's a very... It's addictive gameplay, the Speed Loader Slacks, and it's very simple to build. All you need for it is Specialist, 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 Specialist. Oh, I've got a Gunner here. I've got a Gunner on Speed Loader, so I'm going to a 10 out of 10 Speed Loaders. And Specialist again. Now, on this version, yeah, this is the perfect version of getting the armor sets. Because I've got 2-piece Ion, which works with the GL, and 2-piece Smoke, which is perfect. Because I'm going to get DR on Orb Pickup. My class makes tons and tons of orbs, which I'll cover that, obviously, in the build segment. You're making tons of orbs. Even if you don't have Festival Flight, you're still making tons of orbs. So you're going to keep getting that damage resist. You can opt in for surges and such. You do want to slide those stats up and down. Sometimes you can have class stat a little bit higher or a little bit lower depending on your needs. But it does need to be over 100 on this build. The higher the class stat, the more aggressive that you can play. The more aggressive you can play. High weapon stat. This is all about high weapon stat, right? And a high super stat. Silk Strike's OP in the game, right? It is incredible. Okay, so yeah, it works with a lot of DOT. Like Ill Omen, if you paired Ill Omen with the Kinetic Lightsaber next week, you're going to be able to DPS a boss with the lightsaber. Do you not understand the importance of this? Imagine this is lightsaber. If you keep using Ill Omen for the caster frame DOT, attrition orbs with Speed Loader Slacks, it's going to be OP, lads. That'll be one of the first things I test. Ill Omen with Kinetic Lightsaber to see what that is like. Because you can keep damaging a boss and survive. You keep getting your Overshield over and over and over. It's incredibly powerful. It really is. Okay, so we've covered that enough, I believe. It's basically understood that you want specialist pieces for this. Ideally, superclass weapons. Not much grenades. So I haven't got these stats absolutely 10 out of 10 perfect. They're only 9 out of 10 perfect. But they're good enough for the build. Okay, now we move on. Orpheus Rig is going to be meta with Moebius Quiver, more than likely. You need to lock in a Orpheus Rig set of boots right now, and you can pick it up from Xur. Go to Xur. He has a Grenadier version of Orpheus Rig, which is not God rolled, but it at least has super on it. I didn't even have an Orpheus Rig with good stats because I haven't used Orpheus Rigs post Edge of Fate. I haven't even used it because Teva's been terrible until now. So I've been scrambling to get an Orpheus Rigs. So long story short, we're not going too in-depth with fragments and aspects. We're just talking stats here. For an Orpheus Rig DPS build, melee, super, weapons. So you want Paragon. Hopefully if you get a Paragon Orpheus Rig, that'll be OP, but I haven't. I haven't got the liberty of getting a Paragon Orpheus Rigs. Cryptarch won't give me it. and a Paragon. All Paragon for this, in my opinion. This is the way to do it. High weapon start, high super start. Get that super start knocked right up with Moebius Quiver. It's going to be incredible. Bungie has stated it's going to be one of the highest supers for damage in the game. And it stacks with other bows. So you're going to be able to use the damn crossbow, right, for some sort of damage rotation, because it is a bow, between your mid-tether shots. For example, and there's many different other examples, but I'm just explaining to you. So get an Orpheus rig build locked in. I'm not giving you dim links for all these. It's too much work, lads. I'm already giving you so much. Right, next build, Arc Uppercut build. So this revolves around Tempest Strike and Ascension. Now then, you can replace Radiant Flux with Gifted Ascension, Gifted Conviction, instead. The Arc Exotic Chestplate. If you don't know what I'm going on about, let's get it up. This is the damage resistance version. Okay, here we are. It's fine. It's very good. It offers a lot of damage resistance. And it improves Ascension and Tempest Strike. However, it does not improve super damage. And in my opinion, I like more offensive gameplay on the Arc Uppercut build, because you do massive amounts of damage. It stacks with Combination Blow. Arc Hunter is incredibly powerful. I prefer Radiant Flux, lads, because Arc Staff amplified with Radiant Flux is incredible. You melt. In my opinion, that's better than Gifted Conviction. It is better. This is the better way. I just think it's less damage resistance, yes, but you're tanky enough, right? I just think it's better. But if you want to swap out Radiant Flux for Gifted Conviction, you can do that. Same thing. Melee super weapons. A lot of Paragon, Melee super weapons. Because all you're concerned with really is melee. Or your class stat should be around about tier 6, tier 7. If you don't know, the old class stat value is tier 7 now. So if you're using a build on a hunter that doesn't revolve around your class stat that much, you need tier 7 to keep spamming it. Around about tier 7. So I would adjust that slightly. But that's covered. Right, okay, next one. Cyrtarachne, different versions of this. You've got the Prismatic version. I'm not going to go too in-depth into it. And the pure strand version. I'm just going to explain that the grenade stat is working with the grapple melee itself. Okay, that one there. There's two ways of building it out. But if you basically, the melee stat and the grenade stat works with grapple melee. But I have been told the better way to build it is just to go all in grenade, because it's got a higher damage bonus at the end. So if you rock a 160 grenade stat on this with double grenade fonts, for example, you'll get 200 grenade. So I don't see myself using this, but I built it just in case. We've got grenade here. I've got a Paragon here that's similar to this grenade here. A lot of melee grenade super in this case. Melee grenade super. I've got a grenade super class there just to bump up class a little bit, because I am a bit of an Ascension user. But that's what I'm explaining. And there's different ways of doing it. I'm just saying that grenade is probably the way to go for that. There's more to it than that, but that's the base information. Right, now we come to the next one. Star Rater Scales. It's absolutely meta. And it works incredibly well with Silk Strike. It works good with other things, but Silk Strike in particular on Prismatic, right, or Pure Strand for that matter, is always something you want in your back pocket. I don't foresee us definitely using this because of how Moebius Quiver Orpheus rigs is going to be, but you always have a Star Rater Scales in your back pocket on hunters. Also the Spirit. You should always have the Spirit. Okay? Which I haven't... Have I got it on? Yeah, here we go. So we've got it on here. Spirit of Galanor, Spirit of Star Rater. It's better to go... Just use that rather than go the actual legs itself. What I usually do is, if I am using Star Rater Scales, it's Pure Strand. If it's Prismatic, I apologise, it would be this. Star Rater and Spirit of Galanor. That's what you use. Use the exotic cape with the Prismatic version. But it's the same thing. It's just melee super weapons, right? For this one, it is just that. You want all super. You're thinking about super. Okay, I've recorrected myself on that. I hope hunters don't complain about that bit. Okay, we got Lucky Pants. Lucky Pants is just something that we may use. Hawkmoon's getting a buff, by the way. We're interested to see how Hawkmoon works and interacts with Lucky Pants. But obviously Malfeasance is extremely strong with your Lucky Pants and some of your legendary hand cannons like Warden's Law and stuff, but they're old hand cannons. Lucky Pants is always something that's very good in endgame content, and it's generally just to talk about having a high weapon stat with it. It's not something I'm going to be using, but I have got it in my back pocket if I need it. See how many all these different ways of building it? Yeah, what have I got here? I've got a gunner, specialist, paragon, specialist. I'm configuring different armor archetypes to soften the blow on the other stats, but still run a high weapon stat. Do you understand it? So there you go, Lucky Pants. Now we come to this is probably what I will be running, either this or Speedloader / DOT for Legendary Campaign when I get to Hunter. I won't be running Hunter first on Campaign. It'll probably be second or last. We'll see. But that is Spirit of Inmost Light with Spirit of Cyrtarachne, the best exotic class item that there is for survivability and overall gameplay. Okay, because you get Woven Mail on Grenade Toss. So on this, you want Tier 7 class ability stat minimum. I've actually tested that. No less than Tier 7, no higher than Tier 8. Tier 7's the perfect spot because you're going to spam Ascension. You will spam Ascension and Clone. I prefer Ascension and Clone. I don't use Invis. I do not use Invis on this build. I prefer making lots of clones with Ascension. I just prefer that way and playstyle. I don't need Invis. I'm very tanky on this build. Stat distributions are interesting on this one and harder to build. What have we got? I've got Grenadier, Melee Grenade Super, bit of class, Melee Grenade Super, a bit of class. See, Melee Grenade Super, a bit of class. A Gunner, Grenade Super class and weapons, sort of different to balance out the stats a bit. And the class item itself is Paragon, Melee Grenade Super. So Melee Grenade Super, because you need Transcendence gameplay. You need high melee, high grenade, and definitely high super with a Tier 7 class ability stat for these types of builds. That's how I build him out. Your weapon stat will be lower, but it's very demanding on stats, as I've explained. Alright, so there you go, you've had that. What we got next? Okay, Still Hunt Nighthawk. Still Hunt Nighthawk's going to be getting the buff with the interaction. I haven't even masterworked it yet because I've run out of endgame mats. But you want Paragon armor, don't you? Melee super weapons is the way that I would build it. That's what I would go for. Melee super weapons, right? That's just how I would have done it. So I've got Paragon. I've got a specialist here to balance out the class stats for 7. Very important to know because I like to spam Ascension, as I've said. And we've got a nice gunner piece here as well to balance out a bit more weapon stat. But I recommend a Celestial Nighthawk with Paragon. If you've got the illegal version, then you've got the illegal version. Nothing I can say to you. I haven't got the illegal version. High weapons, high super. You can't get that in the game, and Bungie needs to address that. Why don't they just make a new archetype? Why is there no archetype for weapons? And so you could have primary weapon and then secondary super. Why is that not a thing? I don't know why they haven't addressed that yet. I thought by now they would, and they haven't. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. Because you've got people with illegal Nighthawks out there, and it's kind of not fair. It's very unfair, I think. Weapon stats important, as we've said. Alright, next one, Mask of Fealty. This is incredibly powerful, man. Mask of Fealty is easy to build for as well. I might even use this quite a bit. I'm going to go between this and the Exotic Cape. The Cyrtarachne and the Inmost Light. I'm going to go between that and this on Prismatic builds. Mask of Fealty, you want to build in melee super weapons, right? Literally simple, because it's all about the melee, all about super and weapons and DPS. That's literally it. Don't take account of all the mods that we're doing, right? Just explaining to you that. On a Prismatic Hunter, Wyvern Blade is extremely powerful. Obviously, we'll change the super whatever we're using. I prefer for overall gameplay Silk Strike. I don't use Golden Gun generally. Only with Nighthawk will I use Golden Gun. Okay, there we go. We've had that. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so to take away from that, there's at least 4 or 5 different key ways of building a damn hunter. Extremely hard to build them. If you want to build all of these hunters, it's going to cost you incredible amounts of endgame mats. Man, like when you really think about the hunter is strong in PvE. It just takes a hell of a lot more skill, thought, to think about. I think the problem with the hunter is that the grapple melee working with the grenade stat is wrong. They need to change it, and they need to make that the grenade, the grapple melee option only works with melee stat. Now, I know that would be an overall nerf to grapple melee, but I would still prefer that for build stats, because what you end up having to do is build for a grenade stat when you're on a melee build. It's odd. I don't know why they've coded it like this, but it's complicating the amount of sets that you need on Hunter across a number of various Hunter builds that you need. It's too complicated, lads. It's too much, I think. And there's a lot of Hunter mains PvE that are just going Grenadier. They're just doing that sort of stuff. Yeah? Or using the cape. That's all they're doing, right? Or they're doing a bit of Nighthawk or a bit of Lucky Pants and all that stuff. They're not doing Speedloader Slacks DOT, not like me. They're not doing that. Because they foresee that as off meta, but it's not off meta, as I've explained. I've went through all of these builds with you, and the most simplified version of all of them is this. DOT, Speedloader Slacks, do yourself a favour. Super weapons class, you just want specialist pieces, yeah? Specialist pieces, hopefully super class weapons, with a 2-piece ion, 2-piece smoke, with a grenade launcher. Even Parasite works with the ion adapter, and that is the most simple way that you can build a Hunter and be very good. Remember, it works with DOT crossbow. The Speedloader Slacks DOT works with it. I'm trying to sell this build to you as much as possible, because it's like playing a Warlock and a Titan, but on Hunter. There's not a lot of button configurations to do with it, and Hunters complain about that multiple times. They say, oh, I've got to do all these things to get the same benefits as a Titan. I've got all these button presses to do. I've got all these things to do to get the same amount of buffs. Well, Speedloader Slacks does all of it for you, all the heavy lifting, right? So anyways, we've went through all the builds. I've explained everything as to my best of my degree of levels. If you are more concerned on Hunters about class items and other unique roles, you need to go and watch my exotic class item video. I broke it all down. I broke everything down about it. I cannot break all of that down in this one. Makes the video too long. That is all the different ways, core ways of building a Hunter. Okay, here's the Hunter build I ran for the solo loot cave farm on Kepler. We're using Speedloader Slacks DOT, Silk Strike, Marksman's Dodge, Threaded Spike, Grapple Grenade. We've got Whirling Maelstrom, the Beyblade, because it's just nice for quick ad clear in that cave. The Slam with Woven Mail, Fragments are for Generation, Wisdom, Mind, Warding for Woven Mail, Orb Generation, and Suspensions. Like I said, pair that with Speedloader Slacks, DOT. Weapons-wise, we're using Festival Flight. If you don't have Festival Flight, you need to go and craft Lost Signal now at the Enclave. You need to do it now. That's a priority if you have not done that. Alternatively, if you can't, then you're going to be using Witherhoard with this. That's what you would be doing. Yeah, that's also an alternative, which Witherhoard is powerful with it. Because the DOT from an area denial or DOT grenade launcher in general will keep giving you a class ability back. I'm using the iPhone 12, new, powerful. Man, is he powerful. And I'm using another weapon that you should be crafting at Enclave as well, if you haven't already. Ill Omen with Attrition Orbs, Cold Steel. This will pair well with the lightsaber next week. I'm just using it, just showing it off. It's a very powerful sword. It really is. Here's the armor mods. There'll be a dim link anyways for this portion. Double dynamo and such. But that is the build for the solo loot cave. Okay, so for loot cave farm, come to the vendor on Kepler Mythic. Make sure you got the quest done and you've got the buffs picked up for tier 5 gear. And just make the route, just make the way that I'm going on screen to the loot cave. Very simple and straightforward to do. Obviously, I'm on Speedloader Slacks DOT. You can do this on Arc Uppercut build. You can do it on Prismatic Hunter if you want, as long as you know what you're doing. But it's pretty straightforward. You're going to get a tier 5 piece every 2 to 3 minutes, 2 minutes or so. But just make sure that you picked up the vendor buff so that you get tier 5 gear. You need to be past 450 power for this, remember. Right? You're going to make your way on screen, boom, and then you're going to start doing the loot cave farm. And it literally is just 2 rooms, as we've explained many, many times. But we're using double DOT weapons, that being a caster frame sword. Festival Flight, if you haven't got Festival Flight, you use Witherhoard, you use Lost Signal and stuff like that. And that gives you your class ability back over and over. So you get Overshields and you get Woven Mail. And you can spam your super. Look at the super energy that we're getting here. It's usually about 2 rotations. I think it's about 30 orange bars you kill. I haven't counted it out, but it's around about 30. So for every 30 orange bars that you kill, which is pretty fast, you get a tier 5. Obviously, you do your stat tuning, but it is all up to RNG. And as I've explained, the armor endgame farming needs addressed on Destiny 2. This is why people aren't playing, because of this stuff. Because we can't farm stat arm. We can't focus armor farms properly, and there's too many variables. It's making it way, way too complicated. The easiest way is to fix the armor ghost so that every single armor piece is Paragon, Specialist, Grenadier, whatever piece you want. Because, my God, even me as a player that plays a hell of a lot, it annoys even me. So, as long as you understand that it does, and our vaults are bursting, all of our vaults are bursting. We're going to go to 1,000 vault spaces. That still won't be enough, because Renegades is offering you 40 plus weapons at tier 5 out of the gate with like 5-6 new armor sets. I don't even know how many armor sets there is, but you're going to be still farming, lads. It's going to be crazy. Good, in some sense it's very good, but still annoying for stat farming. Look at that, I get my class item. So there's the solo farm for the loot cave for hunters. Okay, so for the solo portal activities for the smoke jump and tech sec sets, you want to be doing solo ups. Any bonus engram drops, you can do them. You get more. So if I do Caldera, I'll get 3 drops. That's 3 chances at a smoke set, for example, or tech sec. So if I do salt mines, I'll get 4 drops. Reclaim match made is handy. You get 6 drops for match made reclaim. But I'm going to show you the farm for the inside terminus, which you can ignore all the above and just do the one I'm showing you. Where's your art? It's matchmaking today. Let me see. Has it got grounded on? Yeah, I don't recommend it when it's grounded. Hate grounded. Just solo it. It's easier. It's way easier. To note, if you're 550 power, you can run C grade cards and get tier 5s. People are just unaware of this. I don't know why you're still unaware of it. But for players who are lower in power, you need to do score runs. I'm just going to show you the boons. It's a good day today. Full throttle, yeah. Strand surge and airborne. Very good mods, actually. And that's, if you're 550, that's all you would need. But for players low level, you need to put some mods on. Pressure cooker. I've got extinction revives on. Again, you could just use limited revive if you want. But that's what we ran on the card. Let me show you the build for this one. So it's a variation of what we just did, and I'm even prime time showing you off two-piece ion adapter, which works with GLs in this situation, and 2-piece smoke. It's absolutely perfect for this because we're going to be getting damage resistance with Festival Flight and the woven mail and with the 2-piece damage reduction as well. So we're using Parasites, it's airborne, so you can one-shot all your champions with full throttle. Yeah? Again, we're using Festival Light. If you don't have it, well, then use Lost Signal. Okay? There you go. And I'm using a barrier weapon. It's Barrier Scout and Pulse. It's up to you, but Aisha's Embrace is fantastic with Wyvern Gears. Make sure you got a Wyvern Gears primary of some sort for next week. There's loads of Wyvern Gears primaries in the game. If you're confused, type in d2foundry.com and type in the trait Wyvern Gears, and it'll bring up all the primaries that have Wyvern Gears on them. There's actually a few in the game, but Aisha's Embrace is a strong recommend from me. Very powerful. Just look at that. Look how it looks. Look how it looks with the gold. You'd think that has an ornament on it, right? Doesn't. It's just got solar shrapnel on. Look at that. So there you go. You've had that. Here's the armor mods. There'll be a dim link for this as well. And that was the Nightfall build. I'm going to make. We talked to aspects fragment. So we got Silk Strike again, Marksman's Dodge, Fretted Spike, Grapple. This time I'm using Clone, not Beyblade. Clone, the Slam, facet of Thread of Generation, Wisdom, Mind, Warding, and Continuity. That was the build for the Fire Team Up Solo. Okay, so here is the Tech Sec and Smoke Jumper farm. My gosh, this video is way longer than I anticipated. We've covered so many variables in the video and I've worked extremely hard on it. So Hunter Mains, I know that there's less of you, but I hope you appreciate the amount of hard work I've done for you, because I've actually got a lot of things to do pre-Renegades and it's cost me a lot of time. I'm behind my schedule now because of this. But we have to look after hunter mains. It is a bit of a priority for me because we have not looked after them in the past. So we're going to use the Festival Flight plus a dive there, and we're going to skip all of those ads. I have advanced this strategy a little bit. You don't need to kill those initial ads in the champion. Start killing these ads. All the ads I kill, you should kill. If you want to get A+. That's for people who need A+ rating. I don't know what your power level is. But look at that. We're going with Festival Flight, then we're going with a dive. So you're going to keep diving and keep using your Festival. You have a super here. We are going to use Wyvern Gaze. Look at this. Wyvern Gaze, grapple over, jump in the air, boom, Parasite, super. Clear out some of these ads. Look at that one-shots because of Full Throttle and Airborne. As I said in the build portion of the video, we've got Airborne and Full Throttle. It's very good for Parasite gameplay. And I understand that Parasite is probably one of the most popular heavies in the game, if not the popular, apart from maybe Finality's Ogre. But a lot of people have Parasite and use it. I've seen an exceedingly increase of Parasite users over the last 6 months. There you go. Which I have. So I try to use Parasite when I can because it helps more players. If I use Finality's Ogre, somebody's going to comment and say they don't have it. And they're going to say, I don't have the dungeon key. And I'm like, well, buy the dungeon key. I don't know. The dungeon key is good for Sundred Doctrine. I don't know. It's a good dungeon. But anyways, getting back to the video, we're going to keep capping these plates. So we're going to keep diving and keep using our special and our primary. The primary is just on for barrier. It's just a Wyvern Gaze primary. As I said, look up your Wyvern Gaze primaries. Check your vault for that because it's important actually. We get a stun with the dive and then we whip out Parasite, look. Because you keep getting Parasite buff. You keep getting the times 20 buff because it's ad dense Nightfall, right? That's basically what it is. You will not do the trick on the plates. You just go. Don't worry about it. I've got it all factored in so that you get an A+. You just need to keep going, keep moving. You'll do this in 9 minutes. That's fast for Hunter. That's keeping up with a bit of Titan. That's keeping up with a bit of Warlock. Which maybe not as fast as a Warlock or a Titan, because you can do it in about 7 minutes on a Warlock and Titan, like a meta run. But 9-minute runs on this, that's pretty good, man. That's all right. And there's not a lot of thought that goes into it either. For the thought that goes in, shoot boss to initiate next phase. You must do that. That speeds up the entire process. We've got another super, look. We keep getting my super back. Look at this. Oh, he barriers. Touche. He played 4D chess. But watch this. We're just doing a massive amount of damage. There we go. Boom. 2 light swings. Because we're getting full throttle, you see. Look at this. Another stun. Yeah? And then we whip out Parasite to clean them up. Now you're going to clean up the rest of these ads on this phase. Don't go just yet. We've got an additional barrier here. Right? So we'll get... We actually suppress him, suspend him, and then use Parasite again. See? Because we keep reloading Parasite with Marksman's Dodge. With Speed Loader Slacks. So we keep reloading our weapons. It's very important, this build. Very strong, a hell of a lot of fun. It really is. Okay, you don't need to take out every single ad, but just most of them, 90% of them. Then pick up your orb. Because remember, we did skip initial room with double champs, so we're making up for that initial room. Okay? We get another dive. We're going to build up a bit of super energy. Then whip out Parasite. Boom. Look at my super energy. Nearly got my super back already. That's why it's so powerful. You can spam your super quicker on this build than Prismatic builds. In some cases. Not every case. Grapple melee to middle. There's a double barrier. There's a barrier and unstop. Watch this. Watch this. And watch this super. This super is excellent. I couldn't have done it as good. Just watch how this goes. I double kill the champ. Pick up the relic in mid. That spawns in extra champ. We're going to do DOT, slam, then super. Watch this. So one champion. Bye-bye, Barbara. He's Linda. There's Linda gone. Now we're looking for Janine. We're going to do some play. Look at this. Best Pure Strand gameplay going. We still got super. The best to ever do it on Pure Strand. Look at that. And we're not finished yet. Suppress this guy here. Suspend. Parasite. Boom. One shot. Look at that. A quick succession of killing all those champs. We're not done yet. You need 8k score. 8,000 points. This is entertaining commentary. I know it is. I can feel it. I can feel it. You're on your edge of your seat. This is good gameplay. This is good. This is good for Pure Strand, this. It's not objectively better than a Prismatic Hunter on Cyrtarachne, But damn, is it close. It really is close, like how powerful it is. You just watch next week. You just watch lightsaber DPS rotations with this build. Right? You just watch what happens. That's all I'm saying. Just sit back and watch and let me cook. Damn sick. 8k points is what you need. Bottom right hand corner reference. That's all you need. 8,000. Because you're going to get a ton of points, as we've pointed out many times. So just make sure you've got a primary on for that. Because you need to shoot the Hydra and the Minotaurs. A void primary does help out with that, actually. We've got our super back again, which I'm going to have my super for phase 1, which is good. Remember, airborne is on, so always jump up when you're using Parasite. You can jump up a milliards like that as well. Look, you just one-shot them. Well, we will one-shot everything at 100 times full throttle. When full throttle is active, you need to grapple here and shoot the boss and all the Minotaurs. Do not get teleported. Join allies. You will lose 40 stacks of full throttle if you get TP'd. I discovered that just this week, so don't let the game TP you. You need to get to the boss arena quickly, lest you lose 40 stacks. Does it matter that much? Maybe not, but try not to lose your stacks. If you can stop yourself from losing stacks, I think you should do that. Okay, defend plate. We're going to do a festival flight shot, then dive. Always do GL, then dive, because then you'll have your dive back second time. Rather than the other way around. Don't dive, then GL. GL, then dive. We're going to Quiver and Gaze the boss. Yeah, debuff. There we go. Jump in the air. Weakening Parasite. Then Festival Flight. Then Super. Boom. Yeah, dive to negate Boss Stomp. That's another thing about the dive. Is that it negates Boss Stomp and keeps you in the fight for DPS. Very good for negating Boss Stomps. Relatively said by nobody, that. You never hear that. But it does, it keeps you in the fight. If you're shotgunning a boss, Lord of Wolves, yeah, or Legend of Arceus, you can stop getting from knockback by using Suspend Dive. Many different configurations on this build. It's highly customized. I can't believe how customizable it really is. It's like a 90s action figure with multiple accessories over and over. Boggles the mind. There'll be combinations that aren't even discovered yet with this build. Many, many different ways to do it. It's not just one way of doing it. I've heard people say, oh, well, you're locked into just Festival Flight for that build. I can't play it. Well, no, that's not true either. Because Braytech Legacy works. Ahab Char works very well with this build. I haven't used it because it hasn't got barrier in it. As in the auto rifle. And my vault is full. But that works very well. High RPM weapons work very well. SMGs, Yeartide. Yeah? The crossbow with DOT. Lord of Wolves does. Okay? There's many, many different configurations that I can't think of right now because we're in active commentary. We're capping the file plate. We've got a super to use. We've done good ad clear on all these ads, so we cap it. And we'll just finish the boss off on phase 2. Same situation. Quiver and Gaze. Parasite, jump in the air. Yeah, and then finish boss off with super. That's a very quick run for that. So that is the exclusive video for armor preparations for hunters. I hope you enjoy it. It is a longer one than anticipated, but I have give you a hell of a lot of context in this one because the hunter is very complicated to build for. It really is. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.